Judge in Dallas. I'm Judge Shaquita Kelly, the presiding judge of County Criminal Court number 11. You've seen Ms. Jackson before. She was here a couple weeks ago to talk about human trafficking, and we brought her back again because it was so much. It was so overwhelming that I had to take a break. Thank you for coming back, Ms. Jackson.
Thank you.
So, since we last talked, I started thinking about all the things that we talked about, and I have a couple questions.
Yes.
One of them is, I was thinking about the gorilla pimp.
Yes.
And I'm a pretty strong-willed person, so that if I found myself in that type of situation, it'd have to be a gorilla pimp type situation. My question is, if they drugged me, if he drugged me and happened to get me in his home, once I came to, I feel like I would be fighting to get out. I would run away. So those women that are in that situation based on a gorilla pimp, how come they just don't, when they wake up, run?
Well, for one thing, they're continuously drugged. And so in that instance, you think about when you first get drugged and then you think it will wear off. But in the process, they're continuing to drug you, and then you can't just run because you don't know where you are.
How come you, well, I guess because you're drugged, but what if you aren't drugged? How come you wouldn't know where you are? Can't you just see where they're going?
No, because a lot of times they'll blindfold you, and then you may be in another state. So you can wake up and not know where you're at. And so, or you could just be around the corner from where you're at and you wouldn't know that.
And so I imagine they take your belongings too.
They take your ID, your phone. They take anything where anyone can identify you. And then you have to remember, when you do go out in public, when they allow you to go out in public, you're not able to speak. They speak for you. So that's a big thing. And that's something that people need to watch out for. If you're seeing young women who have their head down and someone else is answering all their questions, be it if it's a man or a woman, kind of need to pay attention to the person that's not able to speak or answer your questions.
You said a man or a woman. So women are involved in this human trafficking stuff
Yes.
too?
Yes, hugely. And women, which I hate to use this term, but this is what it's called. It's called the main bitch.
I've heard that term before.
That's what it's called. What she is called. She is high up in the chain for human trafficking, and so she, at this point, is the recruiter. And so she goes out and she recruits other young girls or women, and that is how the pimp is getting these young women, because they look like they're innocent.
So when she recruits them, is it like a let's be friends, hang out girl, or is she more aggressive like the gorilla pimp?
No, it's like, let's hang out. And you have to remember, it's however she met them. So if it's a vulnerable situation, oh, my mom's acting funny, or oh, I'm so bored tonight on Facebook, you say, hey, I got something for you to do. Come over here. We can go to the nail shop, get our nails done. Just regular things. We can go to the mall and hang out. It just seemed like regular life. And so not knowing when you go with that individual, even if you met them there, someone is watching everything you do and can take you from that.
So it's a whole setup.
Yes, it's a setup.
And many times you have the main bitch who is scanning Facebook looking for people.
Exactly. That's their job. That's what they do now. So you have main bitch, bottom bitch. You'll hear these different terms. And that is their job. Their job is to recruit at this point.
Well, what's the bottom?
That's just another name for main bitch. So they call her the bottom bitch. Yeah.
And does she get paid?
Yes. She gets part of the cut. So that's why the bottom bitch is being prosecuted at this point now. Yeah. Because at some point she switched over from victim to perpetrator. And so you do have to have some type of accountability for that. Because everyone does not do that. Some people do remain victims.
Does she still, is it likely, I know that each situation is different, but is it likely that she still is being abused even though she's ranked higher?
She has been abused. She has been abused, but she's accepted the lifestyle and the behavior. So she did start as a victim. We will not take that from her. We do consider that. But a lot of victims who are involved in human trafficking never become the bottom bitch. They never would do that. They detest recruiting small girls or women, young women, or women period into that lifestyle because they know what it's about.
You talked about a victim might not know where she is because they could take them into different cities or different states. Are there some areas around Dallas that a pimp would take a victim, a new victim?
Well, typically they hide it out at the motels, a lot on Camp Wisdom. Lots on Camp Wisdom. There's a bunch of motels back there. and people are not, like I said, it's in plain sight. So a lot of motels are involved, hotels are involved, and they're well aware that there's trafficking going on there.
We need to be holding them accountable.
We are training hotel staff to be aware
Okay.
of what's going on. We are going out doing some training, but some hotels will not allow us to train, which is why.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So that's a big deal. It's a big deal, and you have to keep in mind human trafficking is everywhere. It could be a fake football team. We've seen that. They have a flyer. They say bring all the boys out here, and then it's human trafficking. And I don't want people to think that it's just women, because it's not. It's not just women. It's men and boys also.
Being human trafficked?
Yes. And I have to stress that, because I know we hear women all the time, and I have men on my caseload, and young
so
men.
shocked right now. I'm really. It's so sad.
It's sad. Anyone can be sold for sex. Anyone can be sold for sex.
Are there certain days where human trafficking is really high?
It's high every day, but the weekend, of course, is the highlight time. The women have to make pretty much triple what they would make during the week. There is a quota, and you have to reach that quota, or you do not. Those women and men do not eat. That is one of the main reasons why when we do rescue them, we're bringing clothing, hygiene products, and food, because we know that those victims have not ate.
Let me go back to the male victims for a moment.
Yes.
You said they will act as if they're recruiting a football team?
Yes, they will have flyers. You know how they may have flyers out saying we are recruiting for 4B, 6B, 8B, all those different ages from 8 to 12. And so the parents will bring their kids out. And for whatever reason, the parents don't stay. This is the accountability to parents. Stay. Stop trusting everything that you hear, not even knowing the organization, not even looking it up on the internet to see if it's real. And that doesn't mean that they won't make a fake internet post saying that they're real, but accountability of staying, making sure that your child is safe. They're just trusting. We're just too trusting in this day and age.
And then they go back to get their child and nobody's there.
Nobody's there. Nobody's even heard of the organization. If you kept the flyer, a lot of times we can't even find, do you have a copy of the flyer? Do you know how the flyer looked? Where did you get the flyer? They threw it in the trash. They don't know. They don't remember.
And so I assume that these boys are being sold to men and women?
To men and women. But preferably men. Yeah, preferably men.
Young boys?
Young boys. Young boys. Yes.
Will a pimp cross state lines? I've heard, in my mind, when I think of human trafficking, it sounds bad, but I think of Hispanics being trafficked. And taken, to Mexico or something like that. And I know that's just ignorance because I don't know a lot about human trafficking. But you said that there's a high rate in DeSoto and Duncanville. And
High rate. DeSoto, Duncanville, Irving, Richardson, it's everywhere.
Well,
this is hidden in plain sight.
And is there any reason for them to take them to Louisiana?
Yes. On the weekend, they will take them to Louisiana, to Oklahoma, to Arkansas. That's another hub for trafficking victims because they can make money. So those appointments are already scheduled for the weekend.
Here's a question. If I was one of those people who wanted to buy sex, how would I find, if Backpages is not up anymore, how would I find a victim? I mean, how would I find a pimp that has a victim to sell?
Well, the dark web is one, that's a whole nother world. And so if you're already involved in this world, you know where to go. But these days it's so easy because everything is sexual. So you get on Facebook, Twitter, they're lurking on there. They're lurking on there. So you can get on there and Trip the Game. It's all kind of sites out there. And anything that appears to be a dating site, well, predators are on there. Because they know that you're looking to date. So you have to think about that. They're on there, you think, oh, I'm going to meet you at Sawgrass and here we go. And then you don't make it back. You don't make it back. And that's why I say, when you are going out on these first time dates, send a picture to someone. Tell them where you're going. Don't just think you don't have to share that information. Tell at least one person and send them that information so they can know how to find you and at least know where you started
and tell them who this person is.
Yes.
And if this person won't give you their real name or any type of information about them, no, you don't to go.
But you wouldn't know if it's their real name.
That's true.
They can just say, oh, I'm Eric Thomas.
That's true.
And you were like, oh, okay, Eric Thomas. Okay, well, we're going to go out next Friday. We can meet. Oh, no, we'll meet you. I'll meet you at Saltgrass. Because he seemed like a gentleman. Okay, he's going to meet me there.
Mm.
And then we have women that will go back with someone the first time they met them back to their house or to their home, not aware of who that person is. And
because Romeo is manipulative.
Oh yes, and Romeo is handsome. I mean, he's handsome. He knows what to say. He's talked to you on the phone before. He knows your vulnerabilities. He knows what you're looking for, and he's going to present himself as the guy that you imagine. And we all want love and belonging. And when you know, we're women. We want to feel love and be in love, and that guy knows what to say to get us and will us in. He does.
Ms. Jackson, you've given me a lot and the community a lot of information, and I hope you guys take this and share it and pass it to everybody you know, because you just don't know what's going on in somebody else's home, somebody else's mind. So share it, share it, share it, and maybe we can start cracking down together as a community and get rid of these pimps.
Yes, yes.
Anything else before we go?
One last thing. Pimps and Romeo pimps and gorilla pimps, they're not always men or women. They're sometimes your parents.
What?
And I do want you guys to know that. There are parents who sell their children. And I did not want to leave that part out.
What does a child do if it's their parent? It's call 911, huh?
Call
Tell a
911.
teacher?
Tell someone.
Tell someone.
Tell someone. And it's called survival sex.
Survival sex?
Yes.
Why is it called that?
Because they have to in order to eat and have somewhere to stay, because they'll pay for the motels. They'll make enough money to pay for the motel that day and to eat that day. So it's called survival sex.
Does this have any correlation with drugs, parents on drugs?
You don't necessarily have to be on drugs, but they can be. I've seen parents not on drugs at all.
And they're just selling their children?
They're selling their children because they don't have anywhere to stay, and they can sell their child for that day and get the room that's $32, $36, and get them a little bit of food that day. So, and this has been going on. This has been going on.
I had never heard that.
Yeah.
I mean, I was a child abuse prosecutor. I had never heard of survival sex.
Yes, yes. I used to work for Child Protective Services a long time ago, and it was happening back then. Right now, we just put a name to it. We put Human Trafficking 2. We put a title to it, but this has been going on.
So, bottom line is, it could be your girlfriend.
Yes.
It could be a gorilla pimp. It could be Mr. Romeo who took you out to Capitol Grill and spent some money on you and made you feel good. Or it could be your parents.
Yes.
It could be anybody.
Anybody.
So, be aware, stay vigilant, and
Protect yourself.
protect yourself. Thank you.
Thank you.